Let's talk about the Forbes 30 Under 30 list. What if one of the most prestigious awards out there for young entrepreneurs was, well, what if it was actually a curse? Today, we're diving into this strange and honestly growing phenomenon and why, for some people, getting on this list has become a predictor of their downfall.
If you spend any time at all on tech Twitter, you've definitely seen this joke making the rounds. Congratulations to the other winners, I'll see you in prison. It's become this running gag, aimed directly at what used to be a super coveted honor. So how did we get here? How did this prestigious award become the internet's favorite punchline?
So, is it just a harmless joke, or is there a real pattern here? That's what we're going to dig into. We're going to look at how this badge of honor has, for a really surprising number of people, become just another stop on the way to the courthouse.
Yeah, this curse thing, it's not just a meme. It actually points to a pretty startling pattern. It seems like time and time again, these celebrated young innovators find themselves in some serious legal or financial trouble. And often it's just a few years, sometimes even just months, after Forbes puts them on that list.
I mean, the Hall of Shame is getting crowded. You've got Sam Bankman-Fried and Caroline Ellison from FTX, of course, Charlie Javis of Frank. You even have the infamous pharma bro, Martin Shkreli, on there. And now we have a new name to add to that list. Olorunfemi Gwan, the founder of a fintech startup called Calder. And her story, well, it perfectly illustrates how this keeps happening.
So let's zoom in on this latest case, okay? Because on the surface, Calder had all the ingredients for a perfect startup success story. You had a visionary founder, a really brilliant idea, and what looked like unstoppable momentum.
At the helm was Olorunfemi Gwan, and her resume, it looked absolutely impeccable. A UC Berkeley education, then key roles in the crypto space at huge companies like Robinhood and OpenSea. I mean, on paper, she looked like the ideal person to build the next big thing.
And the idea behind her company, Calder, was genuinely smart. Gwan pitched it as this Shopify-like platform that would totally flip the script on customer loyalty programs, turning them from just a cost for grands into a powerful new way to make money.
So here's how it worked. And the genius was really in its simplicity. A brand uses Calder for its loyalty program. Then, inside that program, customers would see special offers from other companies. If a customer buys something through that offer, the original brand gets a cut. It's a win-win, right? And for investors, it looked incredibly lucrative.
And by all outside accounts, it was working. The company raised a $7 million seed round, which brought their total funding to over $10 million. They were publicly claiming partnerships with huge names like Godiva and the International Air Transport Association. And, the cherry on top, Gwan got the Forbes 30 Under 30 badge. But, and you knew there was a but coming, this is where that picture-perfect story just shatters. Because according to federal investigators, the success that investors were seeing was a complete fiction. Calder was allegedly keeping two sets of books, one for them and one for reality.
The difference between the pitch and what was allegedly happening it's just staggering. Investors were told Calder had about $1.2 million in annual recurring revenue. Prosecutors say the real number was less than $10,000 a month. The company claimed over 26 paying customers. In reality, a lot of those were just free pilot programs. The entire image of success was allegedly built on a foundation of lies.
And the deception was apparently pretty convincing. Get this quote is from a former chairman of the SEC, of all people, who was an investor in Calder. He praised the team's strong results, which prosecutors now allege were completely fabricated. But misleading investors was really just the beginning. The investigation uncovered this whole web of alleged fraud that went far beyond just inflating business metrics, and it's led to even more serious federal charges.
So first, you have the most direct charge: securities and wire fraud. This is tied right to that $7 million seed round, which was raised based on those financial numbers that were allegedly faked. But then it gets way more personal. As a Turkish national, Gwan allegedly used the exact same inflated business metrics, the fake revenue, the non-existent customer contracts, to apply for a special O1 visa. That's a visa that's reserved only for individuals with extraordinary ability.
And this all culminates in what is probably the most damning charge: aggravated identity theft. To support that visa application, she allegedly submitted letters with the digital signatures of high-profile executives, signatures that prosecutors say she added herself, without them ever knowing or giving consent. That is a very serious federal crime.
52. Just let that number sink in for a minute. If convicted on all of these counts, Olorunfemi Gwan, the 26-year-old rising star, is facing a potential maximum sentence of 52 years in federal prison.
This is the kind of consequence you face when faking it till you make it crosses the line into felony fraud.
So this brings us right back to the bigger picture. The case of Olorinfemi Guan is just the latest example that forces us to ask a really critical question. What is going on with the Forbes 30 Under 30 list? Is it still a badge of honor, or is it slowly becoming a red flag?
Well, it seems like a few different factors are creating a perfect storm here. First, you've got that intense fake-it-till-you-make-it culture in tech, where projecting success is often seen as more important than actually achieving it. For some founders, an award like this isn't a reward for their work. It's a tool. It's a veneer of legitimacy they can use to keep the money flowing while the business is actually failing, or in some cases, fraudulent. Now, it's true that with hundreds of honorees a year, some are bound to have issues, but the pattern of outright fraud is what's truly alarming.
Naturally, this has led to a lot of questions about the list's integrity. For its part, Forbes maintains that its selections are purely editorial and independently judged, and they say there's absolutely no pay-to-play system. But online critics and speculators often claim that placements can be influenced by connections or even by money.
Ultimately, a badge on a magazine cover doesn't create a criminal, but criminals are definitely drawn to the kind of legitimacy that it provides. The U.S. Attorney's warning to beware of fraud masquerading as entrepreneurship is really the key takeaway here, and it leaves us with one last question. In a world that's so obsessed with celebrating success before it's even been earned, how many more of these rising stars are just waiting to fall?